marketing here. Hope everybody's doing well today. Let me bring on our guest speaker today is going to be Melissa Rosenthal from Sunrun. So let me bring her on. And also let me bring on Bill Seitz. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Kevin.
How are we doing today?
I'm doing great.
All right, fantastic. So today we're going to be talking about solar. I know the last few weeks we've been, discussing COVID-19 restrictions and, all the different updates. And so today we're going to switch gears a little bit and we're going to be talking about solar. So in a second we'll have Melissa come on. Let me bring Melissa on. I'm going to promote her to panelist. Okay, good morning, Melissa. Can you hear us?
Hi there. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Fantastic.
Good. Thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you coming on. Being in California, and being realtors, we do need to know about solar and we do need to be able to consult our clients. So we appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
For sure. And so before we get into your presentation, Bill, you want to just give us a little brief update on what's going on in mortgage land?
Mortgage land, yeah. Mortgage land is good. It's seems like the banks are trying to settle in now with the kind of their, having workforces at home and kind of being, their production. I had a phone call with one of the regional managers of Stearns Wholesale yesterday, and we were kind of having a conversation about how they've been affected by it. And he said it's actually surprising they were able to get a lot of their production. Their numbers didn't miss a beat at all with people working from home. So they're not going to, disrupt anything for the short term. So I think a lot of these banks now are figuring out that, they don't have to have their thumb on everybody in the office to get things done. And that being said, I had a nice little conversation with him about their platform. So I'm actually going to look into that and bring in that, maybe their portfolio of service and products online here in the next week. So I'll probably by next Wednesday, I can offer some insight into what Stearns Lending will do for us as a company and, see if there's a nice option, for our banking products.
Absolutely. And of course, we also have, as usual, we have our corporate broker, Travis Breton, with us this morning. Good morning, Travis.
Good morning. How's it going?
Very well. Bill, continue.
Yeah. And just in regards to the market, guys, I think I mentioned it last week. The Dow was at probably, I think, about 29,000 before this massive disruption in everyone's lives. And it seems to have climbed back it's just under 24,000, which at least is some good news there that it's finding its legs in the sense that, it's not what it was, but at the same time, it hasn't continued to free fall. I think it was down around 19,000 at the low point, 19,000, which is a massive drop. But to come back almost halfway to 28 range is pretty darn good, despite all of the disruption and all the inconvenience we're all facing. So hopefully with lots of states coming back online now, we're going to see hopefully some recovery here. And it's a unique situation because this wasn't like we had a bad economy. It wasn't like we had these really, poor variables that caused this. This is, basically an act of God had, disrupted things. So hopefully, our state, hopefully can get their butts in gear and get this thing opened up so we can all get back to work.
No doubt. And the one thing that, is kind of coming out is, our model here at ARG is geared for this kind of thing already. So we're happy to be, at least somewhat prepared for this kind of thing. So.
No, 100%. And that was actually one of the things that the gentleman over at Stearns was, I kind of gave him our platform with the real estate and the mortgage side and our platform is low overhead and give back to our agents. And he was really impressed. He's like, wow, you guys are really structured well for stuff like this and also just beyond.
Yeah. Lean and mean. Cool. So before I let Melissa get into her presentation, I just want to remind everybody that yesterday I gave I sent out the content. Every month I'm trying to get out some good blog content for you guys to put in your blogs and to put into your newsletters. So I just want to remind everybody about that. What you'll do is every time I send that out, I always have a link to our blog post. So this is the way this content piece looks on our website. And so this is a really easy spot for you guys to literally highlight this entire thing with your cursor and highlight. Don't do the image yet, but highlight the content and copy it. And I missed a T here. That's okay. So you're going to be copying that and literally going into your agent marketing area. And I'll use Rhonda as a guinea pig here. Thank you, Rhonda. So you'll go into your blog, right? You'll add a new blog, and you'll paste that you'll paste that text directly into your blog, right? And then what you'll also do is you'll copy this image directly from our blog. You can right click it, save the image somewhere on your hard drive. I usually just do it on the desktop. So I'm going to save that image, and then I'm going to be able to go back into my blog post and put that image. I'll be able to, upload the image right here and create that. So I'm not going to go, I know I've gone over this many times, and we have a lot of videos, in our YouTube channel that shows you exactly how to do that, but this is how you do it. And so I just want everybody to make sure that you're taking advantage of that content and making sure that you're reminding your clients that you're there doing business and that you are providing value to them as their real estate agent.
And how long did that take you, Kevin?
It takes no time at all, guys. So, and I'm giving this to you guys. Most of the time you have to come up with your own content, and I encourage you guys to come up with your own content, but this is a really easy way to, have at least something going out once a month, right? So without further ado, I'm going to bring our panelist, Melissa, back. And Melissa, what I'm going to do is, do you have any kind of a screen share you'd like to share with us?
I do.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to end my screen share. You can now share your screen with us by going down to the bottom of the Zoom screen and clicking that green button.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I cannot believe that it's been 7 months since I've met with you guys.
I know it was long overdue to have you back.
Well, thanks for having me. I don't know if who was on the call last time I was on back in October, but thanks for having me back again. So yeah, I'll go ahead and share now.
Awesome.
So let's see here. It's going to be a little bit clunky, just so you know.
That's okay. All right, perfect. We can see it. Awesome. Thank you.
Great. So how many of you guys have done like non-face-to-face selling before?
Guy, I do it all the time.
Yeah. So my son created this little collage for me the other day, and it was funny because it reminded me of a show I was watching. I was watching Money Heist. So full transparency, addicted to Money Heist. And they, on that show, they were saying, try to create a sense of personality with your terrorists. And so I created this, and it's the first thing I show. I used to show my LinkedIn profile when I'm doing my over-the-phone selling. I used to show my LinkedIn profile, and on one of our recent trainings, they said, try to show something that shows your personality. And so my son put this together for me, and this is the first thing people see now when I'm doing online consultations. And it was really funny because one guy pointed out the other day, is that Ace Frehley in the kiss costume up on the top? And we instantly connected. He told me all the times he'd seen Kiss and how much he loved Kiss. And it's just a small little picture right there. So I wanted to share that with you just
I like that.
for
That's great.
giggles.
So our agents, I think that's a great idea for our agents to have, something like that that they can, put up on their screen, because, all of the way that I do my webinars, you don't really see me, but I'm just sharing screens all the time, right? So this would be a great thing for me to do too.
Yeah, isn't it? It's just cheeky. It's kind of tongue in cheek cute.
Yeah.
But I'll get to my presentation now if I can find it.
No, that was
There
cool.
it is. So, again, thank you for having me. A little bit about what I'm going to go over today is ownership versus leasing, or PPA. Those are some industry terms that you might have heard. Transferring when you sell your home. A little bit about our promotions that we have going on right now due to recent circumstances, STG&E rates, and then I'll take some Q&A, some questions and answers. So as realtors, I feel that I hear a lot of trash talk when it comes to ownership versus leasing. And I think that when it comes to some of the smaller companies out there who, by the way, unfortunately, my friends and my family members own small solar companies, they're just not going to make it on the outside of this COVID thing.
Yeah.
And there's been maybe 30 companies already here in San Diego County. And now I know I'm talking to some people who are, all across California today, and they're just not going to make it. So when it comes to ownership versus lease, especially with Sunrun, I want you guys to know that we're strong. We're installing every single day. In fact, last month I had more installs than I've had in my entire career.
Wow.
In a month since I've started in solar 7 years ago.
That's insane.
So, yeah, we're installing at magnitude rates. In fact, we're down to about a 20-day install cycle. So I don't know who of you have solar panels or have had solar installed, but it used to take about 3 to 5 months before you got your power turned on. We're at about 20 days to install and 5 weeks to power on right now.
Wow, that's really good.
So, yeah, it is. So when it comes to ownership versus leasing and power purchase agreement, a lot of people, especially right now, are choosing the PPA versus ownership because they want to hold on to their money. But there is some differences. So ownership does add value to a home. It's simple at point of sale, as I'm sure you guys know. It has a high return on investment. The federal tax credit is still 26%, goes down to 22 next year, and then 0 after that. It does give you predictability and control over your energy costs. With the power purchase agreement, a lot of people are choosing this these days because, and by the way, I used to be about 90% ownership. Now I'm about 50-50.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is really interesting. And that's only, I've ran the math and done the stats, and it's only been in the past 3 months that it's been, people are now leaning towards power purchase agreement, PPA lease, if you will. And I don't know if it's because of my mindset or that of the community. It does give you immediate savings. There's absolutely no risk, no investment needed. You do get a performance guarantee. It's maintenance free. So for 25 years, everything is covered on that system. Gives you predictability, stability, and control over the utility company. I feel like I should take questions after every slide for some reason.
You know what? We do have not a question, but Sam Campbell says that he doesn't believe that it really adds value to the home. What could you comment on that?
For ownership?
Yes. That's what you said, right, Sam? Yeah. He says he doesn't believe that it adds value. I don't know why he
That's interesting. So
yes.
it adds an immediate 3.8% in equity. And
Is that a stat or?
it is a stat.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a stat that I got from a mortgage broker. A mortgage broker, one. So it does add value. So if
I would imagine it would. I don't know why.
yeah, if you so the utility rate goes up 7%, 6 to 10% every year, and I'm going to go over that in just a second. But if you pay $200 on your electricity bill, and it goes up 7% every year, that's over $151,000 in 25 years, and your solar system costs $18,000. That's an immediate savings of what is it, 123 or $110,000
Yeah.
ish. Like, I don't have the math in front of me, but
Sounds about right.
yeah.
Yeah, and so I do have a couple other questions.
Sure.
Anthony Perry asks, on the lease/PPA system, is there a point where you have the option to own the system?
With Sunrun, yes.
I thought I remember you telling us that in October.
Yes. With Sunrun, yes. And mind you, so our business model, we are kind of an umbrella company where small little companies come to us and say, can we offer your lease or your PPA? And we allow them to do so. So a lot of systems that you'll come across that have a lease or a PPA, they're actually Sunrun systems. So we own the market when it comes to lease and PPA. So I ask you to dive in a little bit and find out who owns that contract, because it's probably us. And yes, you do have the option to buy the system, and it's 4 different times at point of sale. So if you're going to go sell your house, you let us know and we will sell you the system. It doesn't matter what time in the agreement term that it is, we will sell it to you. We will also sell it to you at year 5, year 20, and year 25.
Nice.
Yeah, and at year 25, you guys, I've looked at the chart, the estimated value. Basically, we're going to give it to you just so we don't have to come and take it off your roof.
Sounds about right.
But we will. We'll come take it off your roof at no cost to you. We'll get you a new system if that's what you want.
Wilma Nichols says, I lease from Sunrun and I love it.
Thank you, Wilma. Love it.
And then one more.
If I could sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead, bud.
I was just going to pipe in on Sam Campbell's question comment.
Yeah.
I think it could be regionally a little bit, because I know I'm pretty close to the coast, and maybe Melissa can attest to this, but I can say that there's really not a lot of solar demand when I'm working with a buyer as to it being a search criteria item as a must-have. But when I sell homes in Temecula and Murrieta, it's pretty much, most of them ask for a home with solar already installed.
Makes sense.
And I also had, so the demand for me is a little higher when I'm in those regions because it's sunny all the time, it's hot, they want to run their AC. Here at the coast, half these homes don't even have AC. It's just not, it's almost like a bonus if a home does happen to have solar at the coast, is what I experienced. But as far as the value goes, what I noticed, I had a listing a while back that had solar. They had a big solar system on it. They had, I don't know, 30 or 32 panels or something. And they owned it. And the identical, it's in a track, and they were in the cul-de-sac, both of them. So their neighbor, just 2 houses down, had the exact same model. You know, lot size was, 500 square feet difference. Very similar upgrades. I mean, it was a newer track home, so very cookie cutter. and the neighbor did not have solar, and my friend did have solar, and they got $10,000 more on their home than the previous, than the model match 2 houses down, which had sold just a month prior. I mean, it was like that home sold and they listed their home 2 days later. So very, very fresh, recent comp. And so that's when I really started kind of looking. And when I talk to appraisers, I've noticed that they say, you know, if it's paid off, it will add value, or it can add value, depending on the age of the system. Maybe similar to like a pool, you know, like a basic pool. So that's kind of the feedback I've gotten from appraisers. So
That's
now
cool.
the rented systems, yeah, I have not seen them add value. Probably more headache than anything.
Yeah, no, that's a really good, I think, I hope that answers Sam. But I
That
thought
was
that,
my real life experience with it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
That's awesome, Travis. Thanks for
yeah,
sharing.
and then, yeah, Sam says, agreed. And then Keith Powers also had a question. What maintenance is the homeowner responsible if they purchase rather than lease?
So I can only attest to Sunrun.
Right. Yes.
Now I have a non-Sunrun system on my home, and so I can talk about that a little bit too. But with Sunrun, we have a 10-year workmanship warranty. So anything that happens within the first 10 years, we're going to take care of. In our agreement, it states that you could possibly, now you like that soft talk, you could possibly have up to $4,000 worth of maintenance in the lifetime of your system. That's what the agreement states. Now, the solar panels and the equipment that I sell, the equipment is warranted for 25 years from the manufacturer. So after year 10, you might have to have an electrician come by from time to time to maybe swap out a panel or an inverter. So the inverter is the only part of a system that's actually like moving. It's the only moving part. So it's the only moving part that should need to be replaced from time to time.
Great. I think that answers the question. And then one more. Does Sunrun put a lien on the home?
Very popular for about 10 that people are going to now start to need an inverter replacement. I think it's probably $150 truck roll and then an hourly wage.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then Karen Burr asks, does Sunrun put a lien on the home that has to be cleared before a sale if the new owner doesn't want to accept a lease?
There is no lien on the home. There is a UCC1 filing on the equipment.
Got it.
It does not, there's nothing that needs to be lifted. Dependent on, with a lease, no. With a loan,
Oops, we lost you.
then that's a lien, you know, but property taxes are a lien, so you have to pay them before you can sell your house.
Right.
But with a lease, no. So I'm going to move forward here and answer some other questions later. So
yeah, go for it.
To sell your home with Sunrun is hassle free, and I've heard this from several different agents and escrow officers. I ask this question all the time because it's pushback that I hear from homeowners, and that's, if I go to sell my house and I have a lease on it, nobody's going to want it. And that's not exactly true. I look at it like, say you bought a Prius 10 years ago, and with that Prius, you locked in $1 per gallon of gas rate. And you got that $1 per gallon as long as you had that Prius for 25 years. So you go to sell that Prius 10 years later, and you go to sell it, gas has risen to $4 a gallon, but with your Prius, you get to sell it with $1 per gallon. That's more attractive than the Prius next to you that you get $4 per gallon. So that's number one when it comes to leasing or PPA. And then with Sunrun, we have a one-page agreement transfer. We have a whole department that handles those transfers. You sign it, the homeowner signs it, the new homeowner signs it, it's now theirs. There are stipulations. If the new homeowner doesn't want that lease, then we can sell it to you at fair market value, and you sell your home with a purchased, owned solar system. We also have a kind of, if the new homeowner doesn't qualify, this is where it gets kind of sticky with other solar companies, is the new homeowner has to qualify with us. We have a $250 look the other way policy. So if the new homeowner has less than stellar credit, you pay us $250 and they now qualify and they get to have it. So I've heard from agents with Sunrun, we make it simple. And this is from agents, not from me in my standpoint. We make it easy. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
Um,
And Hector just has a point here. He says putting panels on all construction allows the owners to compete with new construction, because most new construction has to have solar.
I think you guys are helping me out today more than I'm helping you out. It's all good stuff.
We got a lot of heads up agents online today.
This is great. So for the spring, we started this mid-April, and we're calling it our Take Control promo. So we really want to help people out during these next few months, during the summer, for the next 6 months. During these unprecedented times. So Sunrun came up with this really great promotion. By the way, our CEO is not taking a salary.
That's awesome.
For the next 6 months.
That's a stud right there. That's a true leader.
Yeah, she is a true leader.
Yeah, that's cool.
For the next 6 months, we've decided that if you decide to do our zero down, no money out of pocket solar PPA in California, apparently it needs to be called the PPA. They don't allow leasing in California. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but PPA and lease are kind of the same thing. We're offering our clients $1 payments for the next 6 months.
Wow.
So during the summer, you get to run your air conditioning, you get solar put on your house at no cost to you, and your payment for the next 6 months is $1.
Holy smokes. So Anthony had that question. How much is the system? There you go, Anthony.
Yeah, I'll get to some purchase pricing in just a second.
I figured you would. That's why I didn't.
Yeah. Or you can choose to take $1,000 Visa gift card, and that ends May 31st. So right now I'm having a lot of customers using the Take Control spring promo because people are wanting to hold on to their cash.
Yeah.
So they can put a down payment on their new house. So with SDG&E in particular, I don't know how many people we have on the line that are from, SCE and Edison, but basically every utility across California asks the Public Utility Commission for a 20 to 30% rate increase every year. I kind of chuckle because it's just silly. What they actually get is 6 to 10%, and that is a fact over the past 20 years. 6 to 10% every year. Inflation, you guys, is only 2.6%.
Yeah,
so
something wrong there.
Double in the amount of inflation. I know it changes, month to month. Last time I ran it, it was 2.6. It might be 2.8 now, but they're getting double inflation every year. So when I do the math, a $200 electricity bill right now over the next 25 years will increase and will end up costing a homeowner it's actually $151,000 over the next 25 years. So when you're asking me, does a system add value? If a system costs 18 to 30K, dependent on the electricity needs, That means a homeowner over 25 years will save over $100,000.
That's a lot of cash to put back in your pocket.
Yes. So unless your money market or your, IRA or whatever, wherever you have your money invested, if it's not making you that kind of money, then invest in solar.
Right. Stock market, forget the stock market. Yeah, quick question from
Yes.
Mike Beauregard down in San Diego. He asked, does the power generation pay for the monthly lease cost?
Yes,
Affirmative, Mike.
absolutely. So if you have right now, say you have a $200 electricity bill and your lease payment, you switch over to solar and your lease payment is 175. I'm just pulling numbers out of the air. Very conservative numbers, by the way. And your lease payment is 175. You no longer have an electricity bill. So therefore it does pay for your power.
Not bad.
Yeah, and if anybody on this call would like a solar consultation, I'm doing them right over the phone now. It takes about 20 minutes. Used to take about an hour in the home. It takes about 20 minutes. And if you would like a solar consultation for your home, I promise to be gentle and not pressure you to go solar, but you will get a lot out of it.
Very cool. Yeah, what I'll do, of course, is when I put the replay out, I will make sure that your contact information is there, and I'll also put it in the chat.
Thank you, Kevin. So
For sure.
I'm
Yeah.
going to wrap up with this little bit here. So I talked about this last time. Your clients trust you. They're trusting you with the biggest investment of their lifetime. People buy houses, once, maybe twice in their lifetime? I don't know the stats on that. What
7
is it?
times.
7 times?
Yes.
Okay.
On average, but hey.
Okay, so I bought 2 houses and I went to the same real estate agent twice. And maybe I'd probably go back to him again. He treated me so well. Sorry, Travis. Probably go back to him again.
We've already had this conversation. It's okay.
But they trust you with their livelihood. They're trusting you with the roof over their head. You can trust in me as well. And we are offering a $1,000 referral bonus. Now, I know agents can't really take that. So if you wanted to donate that to a local charity, a local school, we're open to do that as well.
Ooh, that's a cool idea.
Yes. I'm here to guide your homeowners through this process. Like I said, I don't pressure. I'm very informative, almost an educator, if you will. I listen and help. And
No, that is awesome, because that's exactly what our agents need is, and we talk about this all the time, Melissa, is having our group of business professionals that we refer. And so having an expert in solar really is one of our one of the arrows in our quiver to provide value to our clients.
awesome. Yeah, in fact, I have over 200 solar installs here in Southern California over the last 7 years. Every single one of my clients gets my personal cell phone number. And I've even had clients call me, 5 years later to ask me a question. And I'm here to help write the MLS. I will give your clients my personal cell phone number. I've worked at 3 or 4 different solar companies. I've worked at a couple small, a couple of large ones. I worked at Tesla. I choose to promote Sunrun because they share my personal brand and value and integrity.
Awesome.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I just have one nice little comment from Charlie Sheldrake. He says, I have a Sunrun. His last SDG&E bill was $8 and he has a pool. So, there
That's
you have it.
awesome. Install a shop, Charlie. Create a welding shop or a pottery kiln or something
Right?
so that I can give you more panels because
Totally.
you're my ideal client.
That's awesome. Okay. Bill, any takeaways from you?
Kevin, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, no, I just switched off my headset. But do you file the UCC lien on the property while it's being leased?
Yes, it's not a lien though. It's a UCC1 filing on the equipment.
Well, it's kind of a lien though. Until it's removed, most lenders won't refinance you or
So you just let us know if you're going to do a refi and we'll lift it.
what's your processing time to lift it?
You know, that's a good question for the ops department.
I've been held hostage a few times with different solar companies. So I'm just wondering what your guys' process is for that.
Yeah, we want to accommodate. So I haven't been through that process before, quite honestly. So I can't tell you, but I will jot that note down and get it over to Kevin and get you the answer to that.
And then lastly, I thought I read somewhere, I don't know if you covered this, maybe I missed it, but is it now a new requirement for the state of California with all new construction, it has to be solar now?
All new residential homes have to have solar as of January 2020.
Okay, so that's now in effect. Home builders are no longer allowed to not have solar on these properties.
That is correct.
Uh-huh.
And there, at first I thought there was a minimum, but I've recently found out, I talked to a builder who did a small development in Escondido, and it is based upon square footage. So I thought that a house had to have 8 panels, and 8 panels would cover about 50% of someone's home energy if you have a 2,000 square foot home. But apparently there's some calculator that they have to use where it comes to square footage and geographical location to how many panels have to be on the house, which is cool.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Interesting. Okay.
Great. Any other questions from anybody else? Looks like we are good, guys. Well, what a great Q&A session. That was really, really awesome. I'm glad you agents came with your questions. Melissa, we really appreciate you coming on to the webinar today.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. So this is all of Melissa's information. Again, I'll put that out on the replay. And agents, get out there, make it a great week, and we'll see you guys next week on the webinar.